real. Hello friends! Welcome to another video from me and my puppy, who's very excited. It's been a while since I filmed a little vlog, and today is kind of a relaxation day. It's semi-nice outside. We're having a very Scottish day in that we've had every kind of weather you can imagine. And things have been very busy for Lewis and I around here, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to do a readathon. You'll have to excuse the squeaking. Somebody got a new toy yesterday and it is keeping her calm, so we're just gonna go with it. As you can see, I have a bit of an ambitious TBR here, but I thought I would do a little 24-hour readathon vlog just by myself. I'm not running anything, there's no event. I just thought it'd be nice to do a cozy reading vlog. It has massively cooled down in Scotland. Autumn is definitely here and I'm loving it. I've got my cozy jumpers back out. It's been really nice to get cozy again. I've got my tea. I am a very happy camper. So this was partially inspired by the fact that I went book shopping yesterday and I thought I would include a few of those books that I got yesterday in the readathon, along with a couple others that I already had on my shelves. So the first book I'm gonna definitely read and hope to get through is 450 from Paddington by Agatha Christie. I don't know if you can really see that. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's so cool. I love that. Oh, that's so cool. I love the effect that's having on the camera. This is a Miss Marple mystery, which I think this is actually my first Miss Marple. I've always read Poirot, or I've read one Tommy and Tuppence, I think, maybe two. And then her kind of standalone ones. So I think this is my first Miss Marple. I am on page 168. I'm a good chunk of the way through. I don't have very long left, so I shouldn't have a problem finishing this one. I'm really enjoying it. The cozy mystery is like my favorite genre. That's a big statement. It's one of my favorite genres, and Agatha Christie I've been reading since I was very young. So I'm, just really enjoying reading this, and I definitely want to finish this first. And then I've got 4 books that I've picked out. I just want to preface this by saying I don't think I'm going to get to 5 books over the next 24 hours. I'm not going to read all through the night because that's just not how my body works. But I'm going to read as much as possible. So I picked out 4 books that I thought, well, 1 I was really interested in, and 2 I could realistically read at least a couple more of them. I am hoping to get to 3 books during the readathon. Anything more than that is like a bonus. I don't even have to finish 3 books, but I want to get to 3 books during the readathon. So the 3 that I picked, or 4 that I picked, 4 more. The first one is one that I picked up yesterday, and this is October by Katia Balin. I don't know if you can see the cover, but it's beautiful. The cover, I actually knew about this book because of the cover. It's designed by, I just want to make sure I'm getting her name right, Angela Harding. Yeah, it's illustrated by Angela Harding because there are small illustrations throughout the story as well. This is a middle grade book about a girl named October who lives in the woods with her father. They sleep in a house that he built for them. They know the trees and the rocks and the lakes, and they're very connected to nature, but everything changes one day. When October turns 11, she rescues an owl, and her dad has an accident, and all of a sudden her mother comes back into her life and everything is kind of rocked. So along with the beautiful cover illustration by Angela Harding, who I believe lives in Scotland as well, the story was really intriguing. Like I said, it's a middle grade, so I think I'll be able to get through it quite quickly. The font's quite big and there is spacing and illustrations, so I would like to get to this one. I think that's pretty high on the priority list. The next one is another one that I picked up yesterday. Like I said, I picked up, I think 5 books yesterday, but I've included 3 of them in my pile here. This is a nonfiction called Genius and Ink, Virginia Woolf on How to Read, with a foreword by Ali Smith and the introduction by Francesca Wade. Whew, that was a lot of words. This kind of does what it says on the tin. This is essays that Virginia Woolf wrote over time for the Times Literary Supplement, who has also published this, about reading, about rereading, about different authors, different novels, how to read. There's essays on Montaigne, how it strikes a contemporary on rereading novels, John Evelyn, The Letters of Henry James, George Eliot, Charlotte Bronte. There's just tons of really cool essays in here that I've never read before, and I love books about books and reading, so hopefully we'll get to that one. The next one is Let Me Tell You What I Mean by Joan Didion. I've been putting this one off for a long time. I love Joan Didion. I love, love, love Joan Didion. You may have seen in some of my previous videos how much I love Joan Didion. Excuse the puppy, she's very hyper. Hello, do you want your toy? This is a new-ish, I think it came out last year, collection of essays that have never been collected before by Joan Didion. I don't think I've read any of them, but I will have to see. No, I don't think I've read any of these. There's one that sounds semi-familiar, but I think it's because it's an essay. There's an essay by George Orwell by the same name that I have read. So yeah, I thought I would add this to the list. I don't know if I'll get to it. It would be nice. It's really short, as with most Joan Didion collections, because they tend to come under specific themes. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, I mean, I love her. I think it's one of those, I don't want to jinx it, but it's one of those that I think I know I'm gonna really like. But I just haven't picked up yet because I'm always saving Joan Didion for the right time. But there's never a wrong time to read Joan Didion, to be fair. And then the last one I'm definitely going to get to. I bought this yesterday and it's very apt for me at the moment. This is Dog Songs by Mary Oliver. As you guys may have seen, we have a puppy. You certainly know from this video because you can hear her and you'll probably see her later. But we got a puppy 2 months ago, 2.5 months. Yes, we've had you for 2.5 months. Good girl. I actually grew up with dogs. My husband didn't, but I did. And we have cats, but we wanted to wait until we had the right life for a puppy, and we do now. So we got a puppy 2 months ago, and it's just been amazing. It's been very difficult and a lot of work, but amazing and very rewarding. And I wanted to pick this up because Mary Oliver, as well as just being like a fabulous poet, one of my favorites probably, is was a huge dog lover. She famously brought her dog with her everywhere. Her dog features in a lot of her poetry, and this is a collection basically about her love of dogs and why dogs are great. Look at that little cheeky... What are you doing? What are you doing? You being cheeky? Yeah. Okay. No, that's my tea. No, no tea for puppies. She's very mischievous, as you can tell. So I think this is the one I'm gonna pick up after I finish the Agatha Christie. I think it'll be a nice change from a piece of fiction to some poetry. I'm just really looking forward to it. I read a little bit of it in the bookshop yesterday and really enjoyed what I read. So I'm gonna be picking that one up. I think there are a couple more activities I'd like to do if we get the chance over the next 24 hours. I'd really like to make some bread. We don't have any bread, so as well as just kneading it, I like making bread. We have a bread maker, so it's not like super impressive or anything, but I do like putting on a loaf of bread. It makes the house smell nice and cozy. And as I'm filming this, it's actually the 1st of October, which is a huge day of celebration for me. The 1st of October just feels like a new start. It's like New Year's. I don't know what it is about the 1st of October, but I love October. It's one of my favorite months of the year. I'm really excited. So I thought to celebrate the 1st of October and it being October, that we would watch, well, you'll see me watch, we will watch together the first episode of Anne with an E, because isn't it wonderful to live in a world where there are Octobers? I don't think that's the exact quote, but Anne, the wholesome, lovely coziness is just exactly what I need, what I want. I love it. But other than those, I think it's just gonna read. Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to mention. As I do have a few house chores to do, and I will obviously be taking you-know-who outside at some point, I will be listening to an audiobook. So I'm actually listening to 2 audiobooks at the moment. So the first audiobook I started is, I don't know if you can see that, I'll try and bring it closer, Heart of the Fae by Emma Hamm. This is a fantasy mythological romance. I'm really enjoying it. It's based off of Celtic myth, which is my favorite kind of mythological retelling. And so far, I mean, I'm only in chapter 4. But I'm really liking it. But yesterday I started and am absolutely, I don't want to say I'm loving it because it's horrible. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's traumatizing. But I am listening to Educated by Tara Westover. I know I'm super late to the game on this one, but I started it on a bus journey yesterday and I'm having a very hard time putting it down. I really like it. I'm intrigued, I'm nervous, and fascinated. So I think I'll probably be listening to Educated over the next 24 hours when I'm doing things that mean that I can't sit down and read. But I will keep you updated on that. So those are the audiobooks that I can choose between. And yeah, let's get reading. Actually, there was one very special thing I wanted to show you before we officially start this readathon, and that is super exciting. I think you guys are gonna like this. I need to flip you around. So you may remember from my last vlogs, some of my past vlogs anyway, that I painted this room green. It did not look like this when we moved in, but I wanted a green room, kind of that old world library, gentleman's club feel, you know, Victoriana, because we couldn't afford William Morris wallpaper, which is like the dream. Something else we wanted to do in this room was change the floor, which we did, and I'll show you, but we also wanted to get built-in bookshelves, and you guys, we did it. We did it. We got our shelves. So I'm going to turn you around and show you. You can see we still have enough books to fill up this, but we have built-in bookshelves. So I'm so excited. This is like such a dream come true. So I'm going to show you and flip you around, and yeah, let's show you the new bookshelves. So it's coming up a bit grainy because of the lighting, but look at our bookshelves! Oh, I'm so thrilled with how these have turned out. So we've got some in the alcove there, and then we did this whole wall in bookshelves, and I love it so much. I am thrilled with how this turned out, and as you can see, we got some laminate flooring. So I am so happy with how this turned out. It looks fabulous. Excuse the box, we've still got a few antique books to unpack, but Oh my god, it's amazing. I'm so thrilled. I am so, so happy. So yeah, those are the bookshelves. I don't know if the quality is very good. This camera is really old. And the lighting in here today is not great because of the changing weather, but I am so thrilled I get to just sit in my reading chair with my puppy and stare at my books, which is pretty much all I do now, is just stare at my books and be a happy camper. So, but I think, actually, depending on the time, I might take this one out. And then it's time to officially start the readathon! That's exciting, isn't it? That's exciting, yes. The ending, and I was feeling so friggin' smug. I was feeling so smug because I was like, I know who did it. I know who did it. They're pointing it in the other direction. I know who did it.
I've heard a story, I've heard it said, I've come to believe that love is a bet. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, and sometimes it calls you right in the move. Come to my table, come to my bed, go easy my hunger, easy my head, bring taking me high, taking me down. Give me your pretty, give me your messy, give me your happy, give me your sad. I may be staying, I may be going, I may be left, I may fall apart. Come to my table, come to my bed, go easy my hunger, easy my head, bringing me fire, bringing me water, taking me high, taking me down. Come to my table, come to my bed, go easy my hunger, easy my head, bringing me fire, bringing me water, taking me high, taking me down. Taking me down, taking me down.
Good morning, friends. I am drinking my, what am I drinking this morning? Vanilla chai. I'm drinking vanilla chai tea. It is so dark and gloomy today. We have had a little bit of sun, but it's just gone very dark and gloomy again. So it's going to be another cozy day today, which is great because I have to finish off my readathon. I've actually had a really cozy morning, really slow and enjoyable. I got up about 5:30 and came downstairs and took care of the dog and did some journaling and did some reading, and then I had a cheeky nap and then I did some more reading, and I have an update for you guys. So I wanted to show you, I will just put my tea down, what I've read so far. So I did end up finishing 450 from, oh, let's see if we can, there we go. 450 from Paddington by Agatha Christie. I think you will have seen the clip of me finishing it, but I'm not sure if I've included it or not, but I was really shocked at the ending. I think partially because I was really smug and cocky and totally thought I knew how this was gonna end. Like, was reading it, was like, oh, I'm so smart, this guy did it, definitely. Like, she's pointing in every other direction except for this guy, and it's definitely him, like, for sure, no doubt about it, he's the one who did it. And yeah, I was wrong. I was very wrong. So I was shocked at the ending, but it's really good. I will say I'm shocked at how very little Miss Marple features in this book. I don't know if that's true for all the Miss Marple mysteries, because like I said, I'm pretty sure this is my first Miss Marple, but she was in it very little. She like popped her head in once or twice, and I guess like that kind of fits along with her characterization of being like essentially of being a nosy old woman that butts her way into these mysteries. But I was surprised that she's in it so little, but I still really enjoyed it. I think it's a great book, and if you haven't read this Agatha Christie, the Miss Marple ones, I mean, I think they're all great for kind of fall, winter. I love a cozy mystery, but the Miss Marple, there is something about her that's just so cozy and wholesome. I think it's because Poirot is so sassy. Like Poirot, he can be a little offensive. He's so sassy and he comes back with these really quick retorts, whereas Miss Marple is just like an old lady doing her knitting, solving mysteries, and there's just something very cozy and wholesome about that. I really, really liked it. So I loved that one. And then before bed last night, I read Dog Songs by Mary Oliver. I really enjoyed this. I read it fairly quickly. It is a poetry collection, and I think you can approach poetry in a couple different ways. For the context of a readathon, I just read through it, but I will be revisiting this collection and reading them out loud, reading them kind of over and over again. And I did end up taking my pencil and marking up quite a few poems, which is always a really good sign for me. I'm sure most of you know who Mary Oliver is. She's a fabulous writer, or was a fabulous writer, and I really enjoyed, I think it's behind me somewhere. Oh, I don't think it's in shot, but yeah, I have Upstream. Oh, there it is, yay. I have Upstream, which is a collection of her prose, and I loved it. I read that maybe last year or maybe even 2 years ago, and I absolutely loved it. So this is the second Mary Oliver collection that I've read. I'm definitely going to be picking up more. She's just got such a beautiful way of observing the world. And this in particular, you can really tell how much she loves dogs. I don't always agree with her with some of her views on how dogs should be raised, but particular lines in here were beautiful. I'd love to read out a couple that really struck me for you guys. Oh, this is a great poem. So it was the last stanza that really struck me, but the whole poem's really good, and it's partly why I love dogs, so I thought I'd read this out to you. So this is called Little Dog's Rhapsody in the Night. He puts his cheek against mine and makes small expressive sounds, and when I'm awake or awake enough, he turns upside down, his 4 paws in the air and his eyes dark and fervent. Tell me you love me, he says. Tell me again. Could there be a sweeter arrangement? Over and over he gets to ask, I get to tell. I love that so much. As someone who's grown up with dogs and now has her very first puppy who is staring at me while I film this, I love that so much. And there's a lot of instances like that where I was just like, oh, I feel that so deeply. There's something about the love of a dog. I've got 2 cats and I adore my cats, but it's a totally different relationship. And there is something about the love of a dog, and it's just, the companionship is unparalleled. So yeah, big fan of that one. And then this morning I made it through the first 100 pages of October by Katya Balin, illustrated by Angela Harding. And this is hitting me in a lot of emotions. I don't know if a lot of people have read this, if this is really getting the rounds on BookTube, but oh my goodness gracious. In fact, this calls for a tea break. Oh, that vanilla chai is so nice. It's so nice. So at the beginning of the novel, which takes place from October's point of view, October is the 11-year-old, or 10 turning 11-year-old girl protagonist. And at the beginning of the novel, October is living with her father in the forest. They're off-grid, essentially. She doesn't go to school. The nature and the woods and the mountains are her school. And she and her dad are on their own. It is alluded to, or not alluded to, it's said explicitly from her point of view that her mom is alive and her dad actively has tried to continue some kind of relationship between October and her mother. Her mother left when she was about 4 years old because she couldn't live, or felt like she could no longer live, the off-grid, you know, self-sustaining, fully in the woods lifestyle. So she left when October was about 4, and October has a lot of resentment towards this decision of her mom's and refuses to have any kind of relationship until one day on October's 11th birthday, when her mom comes to visit and she ends up running away and an accident happens. and her father is injured, and she must now go with her mom to the big city because there's no one to look after her. All while this is going on, October has this relationship with this owl that she finds, whose mother has passed away, and the other chicks, other baby owls in the nest have also passed away. So somehow this one has survived, and she ends up nursing this baby owl, and they become attached to each other. And it's a really beautiful, really poignant description of a relationship between a child and their first pet. As someone, like I said, who grew up with animals, mainly dogs, but I had pets since I was 4. It's a really beautiful, incredibly accurate, heart-wrenching description of a relationship between a child and their first animal, their first pet. There's so many things about this novel that I'm enjoying and that are, I mean, I feel like I'm on the verge of tears every time I pick it up, because October has been through a lot and she doesn't really understand what's going on or why things have happened. And because we're coming at the novel from her point of view, or we're seeing the world from her point of view, it is a very childlike voice that we hear from her. There's very little dialogue because she's extremely observant, having grown up in the woods with her father only. They don't talk a lot. They look at things, they do things out in the wild. So October then becomes quite observant and not really knowing how to express herself because she's not really done it before. Her observations of the natural world and animals and the cycles, I mean, this is what she lives by, so they are beautiful. I could not be reading this at a better time of year. It's heart-wrenching. And like I said, I just want to cry. Like, I just feel like I'm gonna cry at some point. And I'm not usually a crier with books, but this is really, really emotional, and it feels real. It feels like I'm going through it with her, or like this is a story that happened to me being told back. Yeah, I'm loving it, and I'm looking forward to continuing to read it for the rest of this readathon. I actually think there's only an hour and 15 left of my readathon, because I started it at 12 yesterday and it is 10:45. So I think that we should grab our tea and my book, for me, my puppy, and let's get back